closing act of the Cretaceous period, some 68 million years ago, the skies...
It was an animal that, by all modern understanding of physics and biology, simply should not have existed.
This is Quetzalcoatlus northropii, the largest flying animal of all time.
When standing on the ground, it reached the height of a fully grown giraffe, its head towering nearly 5 meters above the plains.
Its wingspan stretching to 11 meters, wider than many small planes.
It poses a profound biomechanical puzzle for us. How could an animal of such enormous size conquer the skies? For decades, the answer remained elusive. Early paleontologists imagined Quetzalcoatlus as a creature of limitations. It was probably a giant scavenger, soaring effortlessly on the thermals like a vulture, but clumsy and vulnerable on the ground.
Its relatively small body suggests that taking off from land or water must have been an explosive and powerful feat.
The cliff diving theory was an elegant but incorrect solution to a complex problem.
Standing on both legs, with its long wings folded neatly at its sides, it will hunch down like a compressed spring.
Then, in a single explosive movement, it pushes off with its powerful hind legs and leaps forward.
This movement, more similar to that of a pole vaulter than a bird, generates the enormous initial velocity needed for flight.
Its bones, while enormous, were largely hollow and filled with air sacs, connected to its respiratory system.
Internally, they were reinforced with a complex network of struts and ridges, a natural form of carbon fiber construction. Its skeleton was a study in fusion and reinforcement. The vertebrae in its back were fused into a rigid structure called a notarium.
This is not a clumsy giant. It is a creature perfectly adapted to a dual existence, comfortable striding or flying hovering above them.
For years, our image of the great pterosaurs was shaped by their coastal cousins, like Troodon, which skimmed the waves.
It was natural to assume Quetzalcoatlus did the same, only on a much grander scale. But the closer we look, the evidence rebels.
Its fossil remains are found hundreds of kilometers inland, in environments that were semi-arid plains and woodlands.
Furthermore, its anatomy tells a different story. The long neck, while impressive, was surprisingly stiff.
This was not an animal built for scavenging or aerial fishing. The evidence points to a far more startling conclusion.
Quetzalcoatlus was a ground hunter.
Standing on 2 limbs, it will survey its territory from an unparalleled vantage point.
Its long neck was not a limitation, but its primary weapon. It could peer over the Cretaceous fern prairies and cycad forests. When we analyze its head and beak, the predator hypothesis becomes even more compelling. The beak is nearly a meter long, tapering to a needle-like point. It is completely toothless.
It was a precision instrument designed not to tear flesh, but to grab struggling small animals and swallow them whole.
Its skull, while massive, was a feat of lightweight construction, mostly hollow space and thin, bony struts. The biomechanics suggest a simple, devastatingly effective hunting strategy. A slow, patient stalk followed by a lightning-fast jab.
So, what was on the menu for this colossal stalker? The ecosystem of the late Cretaceous was teeming with life.
For the
Includes
newly
a wide
hatched,
variety of
survival
lizards,
is a delicate
amphibians,
dance
early
between
mammals,
hunger
and most
and the
importantly,
ever-present
baby
threat of
dinosaurs.
predation.
A young, unwary hadrosaur, or even a juvenile tyrannosaur, would have been a potential meal.
We can imagine the scene. Quetzalcoatlus standing motionless in the dappled sunlight, its shadow falling on a clearing.
A small herd of hatchling Paleosaurus forages nearby,
Though seemingly
with a movement
peaceful,
too fast for the
danger is
eye
ever
to properly
present.
follow.
The giant dinosaur's head dives down, beak curling around one of the baby sauropods.
This ecological model solves many puzzles surrounding the Quetzalcoatlus.
It gifted a unique niche, avoiding direct competition with the giant theropods like Tyrannosaurus rex that hunted large prey.
It didn't need to soar on thermals for hours searching for food. Its food was walking all around it. Quetzalcoatlus inhabits is not the lush rainforest often depicted in popular culture.
It was the semi-arid inland plains of late Cretaceous North America, a landscape of fern prairies, cycad groves, and nascent flowering plants.
This was a world of titans. Herds of the Hadrosaur and Maiasaura and the armored Ankylosaurus roamed these lands,
While the formidable horns of Triceratops locked in combat. And shadowing them all was the ultimate land predator, Tyrannosaurus rex.
In this fraught ecosystem, the Quetzalcoatlus has established its own unique dominance. It is a giant among giants.
Here we see the
While
striking
direct
parallels
evidence
in
of
nesting
social
behaviors
behavior
between the
is
modern
we can
albatross
infer much
and its
from
ancient
modern
counterpart,
analogs
the
and other
pterosaur.
pterosaur discoveries.
It is likely that these colossal animals gathered in vast nesting colonies, perhaps on secluded inland plateaus or river islands. Once fledged, however, they likely adopted a more solitary existence. A predator of this size would need a vast territory to support itself.
We can imagine them as lonely sentinels, silently striding over their territory. Their only
For over 150 million years, the pterosaurs had been an overwhelming success, diversifying into hundreds of species.
Quetzalcoatlus was the culmination of this dynasty, its final and most magnificent achievement.
But its reign, and that of all non-avian dinosaurs, was destined for a sudden, violent end.
66 million years ago, an asteroid struck the Earth, triggering the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event.
The impact plunged the world into darkness. Photosynthesis ceased, plants died, and the small animals it preyed upon, the juvenile dinosaurs, the lizards, the early mammals, vanished.
In a dusty, sun-drenched world, there's nothing for a hunter the size of a giraffe to stalk.
However, in the silent language of the fossil skeletons, their story lives on.
From explosive launch to graceful flight, the juvenile Quetzalcoatlus demonstrates formidable hunting skills in a lightning pack.
They remind us that for a time, our world was ruled by kings who commanded the skies